honorable guests, ladies and gentlemen. Assalamu alaikum and good afternoon, and a very warm welcome to the second edition of LEAP, the global platform bringing together the world's greatest minds to discuss and share knowledge about cutting-edge technologies, values, and their adoption. This is where it happens, 2023. I'm delighted to welcome you to the panel titled Dealing with the Unpredictable Economic Consequences of 4IR Technological Progress, where we'll explore how 4IR is shaping the future of the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia and commitment to harness technology for diversifying its economy and to capitalize on opportunities in order to position Saudi Arabia among global leaders in 4IR technologies and co-creating bridges to the future. In line with our gathering here today, I'd like to mention a quote by Matt Mullenweg, a social media entrepreneur. Technology is best when it brings people together. Technology carries prosperity and the potential to address the biggest challenges through smart solutions. Emerging technologies are already becoming the building blocks of cities and critical infrastructure and is an intrinsic part of society. However, due to the blistering speed of progress and development, it also carries potential risks if not directed properly. Hence, in today's world, with the current economic and geopolitical dynamics, technology needs to be re-engineered towards creating real positive value, at the same time addressing the Sustainable Development Goals. The global Industry 4.0 market is projected to grow from about $131 billion in 2022 to approximately $377 billion by 2029. With the current global challenges and a highly uncertain economic environment, leaders and decision makers are facing tough decisions to address local challenges while staying true to the globalized environment. One of the Kingdom's Vision 2030 aim is to diversify the economy, have inclusive growth and agility through embracing and harnessing Industry 4.0. To support the ongoing efforts in research, innovation, and adoption of technology, the Research, Development, and Innovation Authority was created. Further, entities like the Center for the Fourth Industrial Revolution, in affiliation with the World Economic Forum, the C4IR KSA, was established to orchestrate policymaking, and the Digital Cooperation Organization to accelerate the inclusive growth of the digital economy with global memberships. In today's panel, we have an impressive lineup of leaders and decision makers to discuss 4IR technologies as a catalyst for an innovation-led, ethical, sustainable, and inclusive social economic growth through the co-creation of values. We will also explore topics such as policies framework, building globally sustainable models of public-private partnerships, and empowering SMEs. I'm truly privileged and immensely humbled and honored to be in the presence of such amazingly incredible speakers who are leading the key ministries in pushing the boundaries for smarter and better services, turning the goals of Vision 2030 and ideas into reality, and pragmatic solutions, and helping and leading the Kingdom into a horizon of success and prosperity. Their work and achievements speaks volumes and precedes them. Please allow me to introduce our distinguished panelists who in such short time have done so much as key players in contributing to the transformation of the Kingdom under the leadership of His Royal Highness, the Crown Prince and Prime Minister Mohammed bin Salman. Your Royal Highnesses, Your Excellencies, honorable guests, ladies and gentlemen, please allow me to introduce our distinguished panelists. His Excellency Khalid Al-Falih, Minister of Investment. His Excellency Bandar Al-Khrayef, Minister of Industry and Mineral Resources. His Excellency Faisal Ibrahim, the Minister of Economy and Planning. And His Excellency Dr. Abdullah Al-Ghamdi, the President of the Saudi Data and Artificial Intelligence Authority. I'd like to first start off with a question for His Excellency, Minister Al-Falih. Your Excellency, as stated in the World Economic Forum's Global Risks Report for 2023, due to the economic, geopolitical issues and lingering pandemic, concerns are high as there is a risk of supply chains decoupling, resulting in devastating ramifications on the already affected supply chains. We all know that technology innovation in general is becoming a global play, but the recent efforts on supply chain has further triggered localization efforts across a number of verticals. From an investment perspective, Your Excellency, and putting on the 4IR lens, how do you think about the balance between fostering local growth in such technologies while mitigating the disruptions due to its complexities and challenges of supply chains?
Well, thank you very much, Basma, for being here, for moderating this session. I happen to have known Dr. Basma for quite a few years. When I was Minister of Health, she helped us catalyze investment in the healthcare sector when she was at SAGA at that time. And she supported me when I was in NIDLIP and the Ministry of Industry in bringing technology, investment, and innovation into all of that sectors that are under NIDLIP. And of course, we had the pleasure of working together under the Ministry of Investment. And I'm so happy that today you're leading the 4th Industrial Revolution Center that has been established with the World Economic Forum. And I know they use the designation of lighthouses, meaning investments and projects that demonstrate 4th Industrial Revolution technologies. But I think the most important lighthouses are people who lead, who are catalytic, who are inspiring, and you're one of them in my book, Dr. Basma. So thank you for the leadership you have been bringing and for being with us on the panel. Now, supply chain is certainly one of the stresses, but also is a great opportunity because, as I've mentioned repeatedly, over the last 3-4 decades, we have gone through an incredible global development where billions of people came out of poverty, productivity increased, costs came down, many goods and services became accessible to humanity around the world thanks to the process of globalization. But I think it got too fragile, too concentrated in what I call a hub and spoke model where there is too much concentration of manufacturing in certain locations. And the smallest incidents, as we've seen with COVID and natural disasters, we've seen disruptions around the world. And there are, of course, national security considerations, there are climate considerations that is re-engineering global supply chains from this hub and spoke to a regionalized system where the world is going to be still interconnected. I think we call it globalization 2.0, but it's going to be around regional hubs. And of course, we are very, very intent and determined that Saudi Arabia will be the major supply chain hub for our region, Europe, Africa, Middle East, with Saudi Arabia at the center, not only in terms of location, but in terms of mining, materials, manufacturing. How does 4th Industrial Revolution, 4IR, play into this? And you know, allow me just to say that the 4th Industry, being the first one to ask, 4th Industrial Revolution is a subset of the information revolution. Of course, centered around manufacturing. It has advanced analytics. AI is a key component. It has advanced automation with robotics. It has extreme connectivity with IoT as a component, and massive computing with cloud and quantum computing and all of the computing. Integrated together, built as a layer over manufacturing, it allows manufacturing which had been focused on lowest cost and scale economies to be turned upside down. In my opinion, to the advantage of the kingdom, and in my opinion, to accelerate and allow this re-engineering of global supply chain. I call it as a great equalizer, because a country like Saudi Arabia, and I'm sure His Excellency Bandar al-Khrayef is always struggling of how does he equalize the cost of labor in Saudi Arabia with that of Vietnam or India or other countries, with our relatively small market of 35 million, even with the GCC of some 60 million. How can we compete with China or India in terms of being close to market? Well, the fourth industrial revolution allows you to do this because these technologies, the convergence of the components of 4IR will bring productivity in a step change, up by 20%. It will reduce cost, it will reduce waste and improve environmental compliance and sustainability. And it allows you to customize your products and quality for the needs of your customers, because everything is interconnected all the way to the consumer. Whether the consumer is in Europe or Africa or here, you're able to remotely manage your factories as they're interconnected. And of course, for you to do that, in addition to everything at the factory level, at the national level, you need to have great logistics systems that are also smart, interconnected, efficient, with technology at the heart of these logistics. And obviously, it goes without saying, you need to have an underlying infrastructure, digital infrastructure, and the kingdom has one of the world's top infrastructure that allows connectivity with 5G and in the future 6G being available to create the IoT and connecting advanced manufacturing and robotics with, and I will just stop by saying His Excellency under the NIDLIP program, which you supported in your previous days, and I'm sure you're supporting them now, are doing amazing thing by making fourth industrial revolution technologies and applications available to the manufacturing sector in the kingdom to be part of this re-engineered global supply chain.
Thank you, Your Excellency, for your very thoughtful comments. And I think this is really a perfect segue for the question that I'd like to ask His Excellency Bandar al-Khrayef. So, Your Excellency, as per the Kingdom's Vision 2030 to have a vibrant, sustainable, and competitive industrial sector, for it to be the main driver for increasing non-oil exports and attract foreign investments, and to create high-value jobs in the Kingdom, and invest in research, development, and innovation, considering that the RDI authority was created due to its importance. So, Your Excellency, how is the industrial sector encouraged to utilize emerging technologies to improve productivity and agility while becoming less detrimental to the environment, and how is the impact measured?
Thank you for the question. First of all, before I start, I would like to congratulate His Excellency Swaha for the great success of LEAP in its second version. I think that's a demonstration of how the country is developing in a way that is drawing attention from global players. We have seen the attention that is being drawn to the country in turn to what we are doing as a progressing into our Vision 2030 in all areas of the economy. So I would like to congratulate him for the great effort and the great team who have been working on this, but most importantly also to congratulate our country of being really a hub for such events where we are now able to draw interest, attention from global players in different areas. We have seen in the mining just the beginning of this year also our event of mining that has shown great interest as another way of demonstrating how our country is evolving to be a major player globally in areas of interest to our country, such as industry and mining, but also regionally and building the right resilience that we have. Back to the question, I believe three main important things are driving investors today to adopt new technology. One is the natural evolution. You know, the industrial sector in Saudi Arabia have been built in the last 45, 50 years with a very strong base of competitiveness. So we have almost no protection whatsoever. It's an open market, so we are really competing with the global players in every industry we are playing in every product. So that competitive approach, that mindset is driving investors to always look at new ways of how to become more efficient, less waste, less labor-intensive application, less space, and so on. And definitely, the advanced manufacturing, the AI, the 3D printing, so these are technologies that are being looked at by different investors to ensure that they are also up to the challenge and being able to compete globally. Secondly, I think with our vision 2030 and with our industrial strategy, we are more and more realizing the value that this disruption, if I can call it, is creating. As His Excellency was mentioning, now we have so many opportunities that were not available in the past. If I give you an example of scale, in the past, certain industries, you need to have certain scale to be profitable, to be able to compete. Today, scale is no longer an issue with so many different applications as a result of the technology and so on. So the second pillar is how we are as a country directing the sector to move in different investments, in different applications. And this is driven by the vision, it's driven by the industrial strategy and the overall different strategies that complement the industrial strategy. And finally, the enablers. And I think that's the key, and that puts great role on governments that has never been the case in the past, where governments are required to ensure that the right enablers is there. So from infrastructure to training to financing to the right ecosystem of regulation and so on. As a combination, that is where we see these three elements working together to push, not only to push the investor, but also to create the right opportunity for investor to move in innovation, in new technologies, and finally, the ecosystem that we have created, or we are creating now in Saudi Arabia, which is the RDI ecosystem that will ensure that whatever we are doing also is going to improve our ability to create our own innovation, our own technologies in the future, building on what we are doing today.
Thank you, Your Excellency. And the things that you highlighted, Your Excellency, I think are very important, very crucial. And this takes me now to the question that I'd like to pose to His Excellency, Faisal Ibrahim, looking at the broader picture, the global picture first. So, Your Excellency, as we know that the benefits of the fourth industrial revolution are tremendous, like improved efficiency, increased productivity, enhanced decision-making, better flexibility, agility, and smart solutions, just to mention a few, and His Excellency Bandar al-Khaif also touched on those and others. Yet there are challenges like awareness, readiness, workforce transformation, and data sensitivity. So, Your Excellency, what is your view on the current global challenges and opportunities for Industry 4.0?
Thank you, Basma. First of all, I'd like to echo what His Excellency Bandar al-Khaif said about LEAP. I think LEAP, and I'd like to thank MCIT Plus for all the work that they're doing. I think LEAP is another example of how Saudi Arabia is becoming a place where the world meets, collaborates, and works together for results that shape the future. On to your question, I believe globally, I think you're seeing, like His Excellency Khalid Farah said, supply chain challenges persisting. No matter what, there isn't a country that doesn't rely on at least 25% of imports for its livelihood. Also, inflation is still, even despite going down, is still at a high at 6.6%. And overall, I think there is more pressure for companies, leaders, to put in action their efforts towards fighting climate change, which has been set aback in the last few years. I think the bright spot in that is Saudi Arabia's contribution through Saudi Green Initiative and the Middle East Green Initiative. A lot of challenges, but that doesn't mean that productivity and resilience and sustainability can't be tackled together. It's not this or that. I think it's all together, and the fourth industrial revolution really demonstrates that. Out of the 123 lighthouses around the world, they've demonstrated that they were able to decrease lead time by 100%, increase cost efficiency by 92%, fight emissions or lower emissions by 97%, and improve productivity by almost 400%. So that gives us an opportunity to really focus more on the fourth industrial revolution. On the challenges, there are a lot, including collaboration, but maybe the main challenge is the idea of scaling. Right now, 80% of the 123 efforts are stuck at 80% of global efforts in the fourth industrial revolution are stuck in the pilot purgatory or the pilot pothole. This means we have an opportunity to invest more in terms of technology. Of course, $1 invested in digital over the last 30 years yields 6 or 7 times more GDP or economic impact than $1 not invested in digital. So in 2021, we've seen almost 1.2 trillion invested in digital, 1.3% of global GDP, and we're going to witness 13 or 14% trillion over the next 7 years, all the way down to the end of 2030. How much of that investment is going to go into the fourth industrial revolution? Of course, on the other hand, there are signs that facilities do not need big tech in order to become lighthouses, if you will. There is this no-code or low-code technology that is being more accessible, which means we have an opportunity to support innovators and entrepreneurs to provide smaller and medium-sized scale technology solutions to help these lighthouses grow and flourish. So I think focusing on investing in technology, focusing on supporting and enabling and empowering entrepreneurs and innovators, especially in a place like Saudi Arabia where the population is young and energetic, and we can hear, I think the beehive that we're hearing, at the core of it is the Saudi youth. So I'll leave it at that.
Thank you, Your Excellency. I'd like to now move on to His Excellency, Dr. Abdullah Al-Ghamdi. So Your Excellency, with the current advances in artificial intelligence technology, with immense potential and contributions, like development of different technologies, repositioning and redesign of business models, creation of new services, obviously, as expected, there will also be challenges in adoption and issues related to data sharing and privacy. So Your Excellency, in line with these challenges, what has Sadaya done to enable other entities to unlock the value of 4IR?
Thank you, Dr. Basma. First of all, as you know, the fundamental basis for transitioning to the 4IR is the data consolidation, data quality, data integrity, as well as the data accessibility. So we believe that in Sadaya, since the establishment of Sadaya, we focused on establishing a national data bank where we collect all the governmental data sets into just one single place in order to unlock the real value of data using the artificial intelligence algorithms. We believe that in order to enable our partners to utilize the real value of data and also to transition to the 4IR, we enable them in different areas. First, building the infrastructure for data. We also help them in training their staff in order to utilize the value of data and AI, as well as we help them with the number of data sets that can be used by their sectors to unlock the value of those data using artificial intelligence. We thought that the best way to enable those partners is through the establishment of centers of excellence. So we started this about 2 years ago with the Ministry of Energy. We established the AI Center of Excellence for Energy. We identified a number of use cases. So our partner, the governmental partner, they identify the business use case, and then we work together to utilize the AI in order to address the challenges identified by those use cases. So examples of those use cases within the energy sector was to increase the productivity of renewable energy generation by 20%. Another challenge was to reduce the CO2. As you know, the international ambition is that the AI can contribute up to 40% in reducing the CO2 emissions. So we work with them to reach to that ambition. Another challenge we identified in the frame of use case was monitoring the transportation of petroleum products and to ensure the quality of the products as well as the security, and also to detect any suspicious activities during the transportation journey. Another center of excellence we established with our partners at the Ministry of Health, where we identified a number of use cases and worked together to develop AI-based solutions for this. One example was the detection of the breast cancer, and we reached to a competitive rate. We reached to a 90% of the accuracy for the breast cancer. And by the way, we do this free for the needy people through a number of charity organizations. As you know, 19% of the Saudi population suffer from diabetes, and maybe, according to the statistics, 43 of those cases go undetected. We worked with them to develop AI-based solution to detect the retina from the to detect the diabetes from the retina. As you know, it gets damaged by the diabetes, and we worked with the King Khalid Specialized Hospital to develop a number of those solutions. And also we worked with our partner at the Ministry of Environment, Water and Agriculture to develop intelligent planet platform to provide Earth data and sciences for the AI researchers, and also to predict the climate drivers that can affect the desertification. So these are a number of use cases, and I know due to the time limitation, we cannot cover all of them, but one very important center of excellence was the Smart City Center of Excellence. As you know, a core mission of SEDA is to develop smart city solutions. We established this Smart City Center of Excellence with our partners from Ministry of Interior, Ministry of Mumra, also the Amana, as well as the RC, the Royal Commission. And we launched the Riyadh Smart City Operations Center, where those entities can manage the whole city using this Smart City platform and through the Operations Center.
Thank you, Your Excellency. I'd like to now turn back to His Excellency Minister Khalid Al-Faleh. Your Excellency, you earlier spoke about how a balance can be struck between fostering local growth and emerging technologies, but what about the long-term economic risks? Would you highlight that we need to be mindful? What would you highlight that we would need to be mindful of?
Well, that's an interesting question, and I think the biggest risk we have when we're talking about fourth industrial revolution or the information revolution, the biggest risk is being afraid of risk. You know, this is an area where we have to be willing to take calculated risk and have a contingency plan to deal with those risks. And I think at the macro level, at the economic level of the nation, obviously the biggest risk is being too slow and lagging behind, which I'm afraid we're susceptible to if we don't move fast. When I looked at recent statistics about robotics intensity in Saudi Arabia, we're about 1/10 that of Korea. And even among some middle manufacturing economies, we're behind. So we have a lot of room to accelerate. The same thing at the corporate and institutional level, the companies, the organizations that have, they need to be fast followers, if not innovators and first adopters of these technologies and not be worried that that technology may not work the first time. It's been proven that the payback time for fourth industrial revolution technologies is 2 to 5 years on average, and obviously the upside is huge. But it is a fair risk that we need to manage. And for the industry providers here with us in the conference, we need to be also innovative and creative in sharing that risk with the buyers of those technologies so that there is an upside payback to the provider of the technology, and at the same time, one of the biggest risks, of course, everybody talks about it, is about employment. Are we going to put millions and millions of people out of jobs? And this is a topic that has been well discussed. And the answer for us in Saudi Arabia, those jobs that are going to be displaced happen to be the lower end jobs. A lot of them are manufacturing, labor, vocational type jobs, which happen to be today primarily filled by expatriates who come to the kingdom for a few years and go back home anyway. So that kind of risk is not going to present the kingdom with unemployment. But for the young Saudis, 50% of our population are below 25, adopters of technology. I think this is a very fertile area for them to excel and be the creators of these technologies. So, and of course, the other risk is if you don't have capital, if you don't have, because this is a capital intensive, and there is a quick turnover. You have to continuously invest. The good thing about the kingdom is we're capital rich, relatively speaking. We have SIDF, which funds these kind of technology. So again, I think that risk can be and should be well mitigated. We, as the Ministry of Investment, are willing to look at incentive schemes with His Excellency Bandar al-Khrayef around automation, fourth industrial revolution rollout in our manufacturing sector.
Thank you, Your Excellency. So the biggest risk is being afraid of taking risk. I love that. I think we're going to make that a quotation. So I'd like to now turn to His Excellency Minister Ibrahim al-Khrayef. Your Excellency, you've been on the private sector side, leading major industrial players, and now on the policy setting side, setting the national direction for the industrial sector. How can you elaborate on the role of the private sector in unlocking the 4IR potential? And what would be the role of the SMEs? And what can government do from an industrial policy perspective?
Well, I think at the end of the day, the private sector are the ultimate users. They are the customers at the end of the day. And I agree with His Excellency Al-Farih. They are the ones who need to move. And well, the good news is, as I said in my earlier question, is that today the private sector in Saudi Arabia is well positioned to actually take the decision to move. In fact, we are seeing this rapidly. I've been in the private sector. I used to sell equipment for the industrial sector, and I have seen how the evolution is going. But we have come to a stage where it is not enough for a single entity to invest in technology and get the best out of the technology within the boundaries or the fence of the plant or the manufacturing facility. Today's technology is all about how we can connect the overall logistics, manufacturing, supply chain, mining, energy, and so on. And that's why, a program like NIDLIB overlooks at all of these activities. But definitely, the opportunities that are here today in being bold about technology, in being bold about being the first movers, is allowing Saudi Arabia, is allowing investors in Saudi Arabia to actually get the best out what we are offering in Saudi Arabia in terms of our access to raw material, our access to energy, our excellent location, our talent who are very well geared and well positioned to take these advanced jobs. So I think that's the main part. Definitely, everybody is working now to ensure this is happening. I mean, today, if we look at additive manufacturing and how it offers the opportunity to Saudi Arabia from the full chain, from the development of the material to the actual uses of the technology. If we look at the technologies like the digital twin and how it also allows manufacturing facilities to get products up and running to the market much faster, do testing, do the the needed design also and adaptation, and being market leaders. These are areas where we see we can leapfrog, we can actually move on. That's why our industrial strategy relies a lot on technology and bets big time on technology. If you add to that our talent, which is probably, to me, is the most valuable asset that we have, of how we can train them in the right way, do the right skilling, reskilling, and educate them in the right way to be positioned to take the role. Now, when we come to SMEs, definitely SMEs is going to have a major role in the sector, either directly through the new technologies and the investment amounts coming down to a level where SMEs can afford to enter the sector, but probably most importantly actually is indirectly offering solutions, offering products, offering different innovations to the sector to allow the sector move. So personally, I'm very optimistic, and that's why I would like to take this event to make it clear that today LEAP with its innovation and forward-looking is very much also aligned with what we are doing in manufacturing.
Thank you for your valuable comments, Your Excellency. I'd like to now turn to His Excellency Minister Faisal Ibrahim. So earlier, Your Excellency, you spoke about the existing global challenges and opportunities for Industry 4.0. But can you now shed light, Your Excellency, on how is the Kingdom positioned to move forward with Industry 4.0?
Sure. I think Saudi Arabia has a lot of enablers and a lot of attractive points that can work for it. Not just the location, which we mentioned, where East meets West, also the access to energy. And here we talk about conventional energy, but also Saudi Arabia's leadership in clean energy moving forward. We have one of the largest projects in green hydrogen in NEOM, and we also have a lot of other projects that are in that direction. Cheapest wind, cheapest solar. Not only that, we also have access to solutions for carbon removal. We're not talking about shipping and whatnot, or just carbon credits and the regulatory environment. We're talking about actual physical proximity to the energy and actual physical proximity to removing the carbon that comes out of that energy. That creates the right kind of economics for a lot of projects that can be intensive in terms of 4IR and capital intensity, but also in terms of scale and size. We also have access to a young population, like their excellencies mentioned, and we have an opportunity to capture the demographic dividend properly, and the youth of Saudi Arabia can become a source of energy for fourth industrial revolution globally. I'd like to pivot a little bit to solutions maybe that can help this challenge globally. Maybe we talk about 5 that can happen in Saudi Arabia and abroad. 1, we need a competitive R&D ecosystem, which we're working on. 2, we need to invest in upskilling and reskilling talent, which also we're working on, and also especially as we have a very young population. 3, scaling up, and I think the Kingdom in its position, talking to the globe, the solution to the scale-up challenge can come from Saudi Arabia. As well as that, we have access to the collaboration with global entities. So these 5 items can help us truly, if we focus on it, address this challenge. And an example on collaboration is what we have on the data side between the Statistics Office and the Administrative Office, Data Office with Sadaya and Big Data. I think you're going to see a lot of great news about how collaboration can yield really impressive and cutting-edge solutions and as well as enablers at the same time.
Thank you for your insightful comments, Your Excellency. And I'd like to now turn to His Excellency, Dr. Abdullah Al-Ghamdi. So, Your Excellency, the quality of data is critical in AI applications as it is used to power smart solutions. Hence, how would Sadaya describe the Kingdom's progress in addressing data quality and fairness, non-biased AI designs, and privacy?
Sure, thank you so much. This is a very important question. Going back to the same topic that I mentioned in the answer of the first question, the National Data Bank, we consolidated data sets from more than 240 governmental giant systems, and the main challenge was the data quality. So we spent a long time analyzing the root causes of those data quality, and eventually we launched the National Data Quality Program. And praise be to God, we have achieved 72% of the data quality amongst all the governmental data sets. This helped a lot in utilizing the real value of those data, and we can depend on those high quality data to be used with our sectors and different, as I mentioned, the centers of excellence. One approach we followed to make sure that each individual can contribute to this effort through our national mobile app, تقنيات, we introduce a service where people can go through their educational data to their job data and correct the wrong data. And this is another way of increasing the transparency and fairness. So people can go through their educational history and as well as their job history, and we did this in collaboration with our partner, the Ministry of Education, and also the Ministry of Human Resources, and GOSIA as well. This is also very important to have a full implementation of the Ask for Once policy, or Ask Once policy. The idea behind this is for the governmental entities to ask the individual, the citizen or the resident, to ask him once for their personal data. So other governmental entities can go to the National Data Bank and get the data that's been provided by the individual. Regarding the other part of your question, the fairness and to reduce the bias, basically the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia, represented by Sadaya, and in collaboration with UNESCO, we launched the AI ethics principles during the last Global AI Summit last September. So this ethics principles, or AI ethics principle, consists of 7 main principles, including the fairness, the privacy, the explainability and transparency, as well as the accountability and responsibility, social, also reliability and safety. All these 7 principles will be taken into consideration during the implementation of any AI-based solutions with our partners.
Thank you for your valuable comments. Your Royal Highnesses, Your Excellencies, honorable guests, ladies and gentlemen, as much as we'd like to continue this exciting discussion and hear more from the amazing panelists, we have come to the end of our session. Please join me in extending our sincerest appreciation to all the panel members for taking the time out from their extremely busy schedules and sharing their valuable insights, knowledge, and thoughts with us. It was enlightening to hear about the progress, the direction, and efforts that are being invested to accomplish the goals of Vision 2030. And it's evident that innovation and 4IR have started to surge, and the Kingdom, with its ambitious and brilliant talent, is at the forefront of this drive, inevitably making presence on international arena as critical components of economic, social, and sovereign outcomes. I would like to mention a quote by His Royal Highness Prince Mohammed bin Salman, which reflects the power of unity and collaboration and how it creates overwhelming presence and colossal force. The Saudi strength is like that of the Tuwaiq mountain, unbreakable, unless this mountain is leveled and equal to the ground. It's obvious that collaboration is a critical parameter in the formula to advance and create immense value. Hence, in line with that, and as I stated in my opening statements, I'd like to conclude this session today with what we are all trying to achieve, co-creating bridges to the future. Thank you, and I wish you all a great afternoon.
Basma and Your Excellencies, thank you so much.